Hey everybody, welcome to Tribe Daily, or Tribe Nightly with me, I guess, since it's dark outside. Tonight we're going to be looking at Luke chapter 2, verse 15 through 20. And just to give you a little bit of context, this is after the birth of Jesus. When the angels had left them and gone into heaven, the shepherds said to one another, "Let's go to Bethlehem and see this thing that has happened, which the Lord has told us about." So they hurried off and found Mary and Joseph and the baby who was lying in the manger. And when they had seen him, they spread the word concerning what had been told them about this child. And all who heard it were amazed at the shepherds said to them. But Mary treasured up all these things and pondered them in her heart. The shepherds returned, glorifying and praising God for all the things that they had heard and seen, which were just as they had been told. And so here we are recounting the narrative of Jesus' birth. And it's a story of many twists and turns, crazy adventure, I guess you could say. And at the beginning of chapter 2, the story begins with Caesar Augustus, who had ordered that they should return to their hometowns. And so here another announcement we find in chapter 2, and this is from the angels. And yet it comes to the lowly shepherds. And it's interesting how God works. On one level, you see kind of the plans of Caesar Augustus and what he has set into place, and Mary and Joseph having to travel to Bethlehem. But it was God working through Augustus, Joseph, and Mary who orchestrated the whole event of Christ's birth in order to bring about his will, God's will. And so Jesus has come. Just a few verses before this, we see that. And he has come to deliver his people from the burdensome rulers of this world, rulers greater than Augustus Caesar, but also sin and death. And so God works out his will in order to allow for the good news to be made known to those humble enough to search and find Jesus. And that's really what we see when we consider the shepherds, that the messengers, the angels, came to the shepherds, the most lowly that you could think of in this time. They probably smelled really bad, weren't clean, took care of the sheep, the dumb sheep, as you might think or have heard. And yet it was the angels that came to them and said, "Go, the Savior has been born, go and make it known." And one thing I have written in my Bible actually is that he gave it to you to make it known. Speaking about Jesus' birth, the gospel, the reason why Christ came. And so when we think about ourselves right now, think about this, that the good news was not given to you to keep, but it was to be made known, and for you to make it known. And so I normally think about this, the song "Go Tell It on the Mountain" with these shepherds here. But we really do see here a rejoicing in the beginning of meaning and what they see and understand in hearing that the Savior has come. And that's really, really beautiful thing. And so one question I want to look at right quick is, how does the birth of Jesus, the Messiah, shape and influence the way we see the world's events today? And just to give you one thought, I think I read it earlier where it says God works out his will in order to allow for the good news to be known to those humble enough to search and find Jesus. So one encouragement I have for you is that no matter what's going on, that God is in control and his will is going to be done. And in all of this, there are people who are looking for answers. And we have the truth. We have the light in us. So why would we not share it and make it known? So think about that this evening and tomorrow morning, whenever you watch this. I love all of you and miss you very much. Bye.